Hello, everybody, and welcome to PGS Treks. I'm your host, RM, and of course, tonight we have with us Julian Mushkin. Julian, how are you tonight?
I'm super. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, guys, and we will be starting the show in a few minutes. We're just waiting for all the connectivity to start with our channels, and there's a lot of expectation. This episode is called um, "No Win Scenario," and of course, that brings us back to a lot of memories of some other Star Trek shows. And I'm just going to say hello to everybody who is here tonight. There's Gerald Waxter who says, "Hey, I love retirement." Well, I do too. I'm not retired, but I still love it. So good to see you, Gerald. We also have Tom Bartholdi. He says, I can't wait to see where this episode goes. Um,
Truly.
I completely agree with you, Thomas. I'm so excited for that. Efren Guzman is here. Says, hey, Efren. Says, I am ready. Yes, we are ready to Efren. We'll be ready in a few seconds. And then Rick Sherberg. Sherpenberg says, good morning from Europe. Good morning, Rick. How are you this morning? Hope you are well there. Yeah, Gerald says it starts at 1 a.m. I'm assuming that's probably 2 a.m. for me. So maybe he's in somewhere in the Midwest or maybe in I could be wrong, but maybe somewhere there, guys. And he says good morning to everybody. So good morning to you. Medallion says early start morning. Yes, early start tonight. Yes, early start morning. Yep. Yes, it is the middle of the night for me, so I'm not that concerned. Tom Junior Jackson is here. Hi, Tom. How are you? So excited to see this episode. Thomas Bertoldi says, I'm more interested in Picard than I am in Star Wars, even at the moment. I even tried to watch Flashes last season and haven't found it interesting, but Picard has been fun. Picard has been fun so far. And Julian, you and I were just talking about this. I just don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah. It's kind of a mystery, and it's very it's just compelling, and that's wonderful. And we haven't seen the kind of loose ends and silliness like from the first two seasons of Picard that. So that I'm really enjoying the storytelling so far.
I am too. It really has been such a great ride, and it's not predictable as far as I'm concerned. Although there are some of you guys who are like, "Yeah, that was predictable." So yeah, maybe some of it is, but to me, it's not predictable. It's so I don't know what's going to happen. Bandit MD11 says, "Ready for the hype." Yes, we are ready for the hype, Bandit. And
If you
yeah,
mean hypo spray, you bet.
yes. Thomas Bertoldi says, I'm so excited to see where this goes. And Medallion says that this tonight's episode is supposed to be special from what people are hinting at. Ooh, oh my gosh, what is it? What is it? Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited. Um, and we also have, let me just refresh this. Are we still at the same second here? Sorry. Oop. Oh, did it restart? Cheeky. It restarted the commercial when I paused it. You cheeky guys, you.
Yeah, I still haven't been able to get it yet.
Where are we? Oh, it's advertisements. It went into advertisements. That's what I've been thinking about it being special. And Thomas says, I'm off work tomorrow, so getting to start the day off with this is nice. Yeah, that is kind of nice. That is nice. And Gerald is playing on Prime. Yes, we will start in a few minutes. We're just waiting for everything to sync. Um,
Some of us don't have Prime.
Yeah, Efren says, good evening. Well, good evening to you. And I'm just going to put it back to the point where it was before because, like, it restarted. It gave me commercials. That's very cheeky. I was not expecting that. I just figured pause would be pause, but I guess pause is not pause these days. Let's see if I can do the, the beginning. I think the graphics looks really cool with that. That really cool, the part I'm talking about.
Yes.
Where the ship flies around and does that
Yes.
really cool movement. Um, and Efren says, yes, this is the episode. Yeah. Um, Donnie Pearson. Donnie Pearson. Is this the person you were talking about?
Yes. She's a
Yeah.
very huge Trek fan. Donnie is.
Yes, Donnie. I'm going to be in the UK for a little while, and I was wondering in regards to, do you know if I have an American account and I go over to the UK, is it going to work? I've never used any of my accounts overseas before. In fact, the last time I was overseas was in 2017, so it's been a little while, and I didn't have all these streaming accounts. I mean, I had Netflix, but I wasn't watching Netflix when I was over there. So I was just curious if you have an account in the United States, does it work over there? Because I want to know whether I'd be able to still watch it. Efren Guzman says 1 a.m. by me Central Time. Oh, awesome. What time does it start officially? 3 a.m.
Ah,
Eastern.
I have it on my iPad.
Yay! Yay! That was only like 5 minutes, Julian.
Hmm.
That's like a 5 minute wait. That wasn't so bad. Um, Let me know when you're ready to punch it. Um, Irene Jacobson says middle of the night's here, but kids wake me up. Woke me up. I'm not surprised, Irene. My mom wakes me up, so at least for right now. Hopefully, not a mystery box. I don't think they're doing anything like that with this series. I really don't. Irene Jacobs says I went to catch up today and I forgot to switch to season 3. I watched 4 episodes of season 1. Oh, Irene, I'm so sorry for you. Just erase those from your memory. Thomas Bertoldi says hello. Yeah, everybody. Poor Irene. Yeah, just erase it. I wish I had the Men in Black thing to just kind of erase that from your memory so you don't have to worry about that. And then she says, it took me until then to realize, and then I saw the release date and noticed. And Thomas says it looks like it's about an hour. Yeah, I see 57 minutes. Yeah, it's a good amount of time. Yes, a new Picard has arrived in my area. A new Picard has arrived in my area and also in Julian's area. Attention.
Yeah,
I just
I'm
got off
getting
work.
through the ads.
Excellent. Well, I had a short shift today and I'm off tomorrow. Thomas, we are so happy for you. Bandit MD11 says ready for the reveals, and I'm watching it while chatting. Certainly, Thomas, we are going to start the show in a few minutes, literally in a few seconds, actually. Um, Card up in all our areas. Affirmative. Affirmative.
I managed to stop it at 16 seconds.
Okay, excellent. Let me get to 16 seconds. Hold on one second. So I can sync with you. And okay. So let me know when you start it, Julian. Do you do
I'm ready to go.
2, 1, engage. Keep reloading it, Dustin. Keep reloading it and you'll be able to pull it up. That's what we had to do. It has been great. You almost need the recap because so much happened in the last episode. And it is on, yeah, it is on Amazon Prime. Thanks, Thomas. 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Ouch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna watch it a few times too, Thomas. That's a guarantee. Mm. Mm. Yeah, Dustin, restart your app and you'll get it, Dustin. And Irene, we'll see you later, my dear. We'll see you later. Can changelings become inanimate objects?
Yes.
So she doesn't know, like, anything in her room could be. Yeah, but it could be anybody, right? It could be anybody who's the changeling. That's the thing that gets me about this.
Yeah.
holodeck therapy. Same here, Thomas. Yeah, I think he lost it between Excalibur and Dune, right?
Life Force was in there somewhere too.
Yeah. I think we needed a drinking game. Every time they said Metalis, we have to drink something. Hell yeah. Sorry. Why are they able to predict when the next wave is coming? Is it a physics thing?
Well, they said there was something biological about the nebula. Maybe she's onto something.
If anybody can find goo residue, it's 7 to 9. She'll find whatever she wants.
Ah,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's bizarre.
yeah, that is bizarre.
It's not a phone call I want to make.
No. What was that weird? What was that? Those kids do look really young.
Yeah.
Oops. I guess I was spot on with the drinking game. Yep, that's what I thought. Is it is
Yeah.
Shoot it, Seven. Okay, I'm
She
sorry.
just shot it several times. It did nothing.
Yeah, I wondered about the blood test too, but Mhm.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
Yep. Well, he's a real party pooper, huh?
Hmm.
Ah, I knew it. It was something biological, hormonal. I knew it. Interesting. Space babies. Yes, guy. SLI. Yes, the episode is playing now. This is a damn good 35 minutes of a show, Julian, I gotta say.
Still got a changeling running around on the ship. Hello.
Yes. Who's sabotaging the ship, right? He's still doing sabotage. Mm.
Of course, we don't know how long it's been out of its container.
So they're gathering the energy from these pulses. Is that what they're doing, Julian?
Yeah, they're gonna try and catch him somehow.
What?
God, I thought for a minute they were going to cut to Raffi and Worf.
It's like hot wiring a car. Wow. Because, yep, that's right. She, in fact, went to go see her. That's why they had that interlude to see her. The reason why she went to go see her in
Yeah,
is
to
so that
set
you
that
would
up.
know there was an ulterior reason that we needed to see that. And now I know the answer.
Let's put that positronic brain to use.
Wow, was not expecting that.
That was sweet.
Oh dear.
Well,
Oh my gosh. That's not normal.
no.
He's got to tell somebody it's happening. Those are visions of destruction, war, even. Find me?
Woo!
Sounds like a terrible siren trying to bring him to a place where he's going to be killed. Wow. I don't have any words for this episode other than amazing.
Yeah, it was a good one. I'm gonna have to watch it again. I spent too much time trying to sync up my TV with the iPad.
Aww.
It was a never-ending mess. So I just gave up.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's the way that they were. You know, it didn't come up at the same time this one did. So it was like off. It was really weird, and I could never figure out exactly where I'd get ahead, and then I'd miss it, and I'd be behind.
Oh God.
So, oh well.
What an episode. I can turn this back on now.
Yeah, that was definitely good.
Yeah, it was amazing. I can't, I'm almost speechless. There was so much in this episode. And of course, guys, Julian and I are going to do a recap on Friday night at 11. But boy, this was fun. And having you guys here, all 20 of you, along for the ride tonight has been absolutely priceless. I really love that comment that he made. You are only ever as good as those around you. I think that was one of those messages that we expect to hear from Star Trek that we don't hear or haven't been hearing recently, Julian. It's so important to have those words of encouragement that we are expecting in the honestly the idealism of Star Trek that they're supposed to be a society that has reached a certain level of evolution. And I think that comment alone shows how important and how, even though he doesn't really know that crew well, that he knows that they're sacrificing at being on the starship in service, doing this service. These guys, these crew members don't have to be there. It's their decision to be there and to join Starfleet. So, there it does have a lot. It's very profound. And then, the bombshell at the end with Jake actually seeking out his father. But that was a loaded question and out of context, Julian, if as far as I'm concerned, because Captain Picard may not have been saying how he honestly felt to a stranger, someone he didn't know.
No, I think he was answering it as he with the information that he had on hand, he was answering it honestly.
Okay.
At the time. So.
Okay, fair enough. I wasn't quite sure whether, that was it, you know what I mean? Like sometimes when you ask somebody a question and they might answer differently. A question from someone, a loved one, you might answer a little differently, but yeah. I'm sorry,
if I wouldn't expect Jack to, if Jack knows the situation, then there's no reason he should expect that Picard would go, oh, because he didn't know what Beverly had done. He didn't have that, and maybe that was the only way that Jack could try and kind of decide if he wanted to approach him or not, is find out if he felt like something was missing in his life, family or whatever. But Picard's not in that group in that time, is not going to sit there and go, oh, I wish that I had settled down and had kids. He's not in that place. So it's not, it's what you're saying. It's not fair of Jack to ask that question quite like that without him knowing who it is. But I think it was the only way that Jack could approach it and still keep himself protected, you know, from diving in to a situation that he is not sure he wants to dive into, obviously.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at some of the responses of everybody about what a great episode it is. I want to see these episodes be edited together into a film. 10 out of 10 no-win scenarios. Wow, Donnie, 10 out of 10. Wow. And Picard dropping a colorful metaphor, computer disengage audio. Amazing, amazing episode. Thomas and Efren say, I want to binge watch all of the season at some point once. What's going on with Jack? Yeah, he needs to tell somebody what's happening. Maybe Beverly does know what's happening, but he needs to figure out because those visions were a little frightening, Julian.
Yeah, yeah, it's really weird. Don't know what's going on.
And says, I have to wait for another 20 plus hours. Gia, oh, okay, break.
Oh no.
Expect the unexpected, you know, Mark Spector's Avatar. That might be a very good uh, way to talk about this season. Expect the unexpected. However, what is expected are the words of wisdom that we expect from Star Trek, Julian, right? We got some of that tonight. Certainly, we got a lot of that. And we actually saw the captain, whose name I can't remember, working with 7 of 9
Shaw.
together. Captain Shaw. Now that I know that he was so intimately close to what happened in those events, and how he was, that must have really distressed him as a young cadet engineer. That must have really broke him, having to go through that experience.
Yeah, I had a feeling when you know they were showing those um, things about the constants and lost at that battle of Wolf 459, and so I had a feeling it was something like that, and I think a lot of other people who picked up on that after the first episode also were like, yeah, yeah, either his family or him were on that ship, and so that's why he has it out for the Borg and for Picard in general, specifically.
Yeah, and Thomas says those creatures were just so amazing. It was like watching an old TNG episode. Yeah, and I felt like it was almost that. It also reminded me of the Abyss with
Oh
those
yeah,
light creatures that were floating around and had all that power. Remember, they had
yeah,
power in the movie Abyss where they could propel that entire, oil rig that was at the bottom of the ocean. I don't know how many fathoms below, all the way up to the surface in a way that no one else could, and could control water, and just having these anomalies out there was a wonderful experience. It was like a first contact for, I think, for us as well. It's been a while, Julian, that we've seen something like that, a first contact like that, hasn't it?
yeah. But you know, it also harks all the way back to the beginning of first of Next Generation Encounter at Farpoint
Yeah.
with those things that were in the Farpoint outpost. You know, the space jellyfish.
Yes.
Gee, that's
And
what these kind of look like. Space jellyfish.
that's exactly what it is, clearly, and they were beautiful. I have a feeling they were quite large. I don't know the scale, but I have a feeling they were quite large organisms. Mark Spector's Avatar says, "I for one thinks Picard wants children." And Tom says, "I wonder what's up with Jack, but those Picard and Jack moments were great. They actually felt really satisfying, didn't they, Julian?"
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh, I
Good
mean, I
stuff.
wasn't expecting that. I mean, first of all, the bar they went to looks amazing. So whoever programmed that looks fantastic. But because I'd love to meet all of you guys tonight, and let's all go in and just kind of go to that bar and kind of talk about tonight's episode. But certainly it was so much fun, seeing how they could kind of, you know, have those moments, and the importance of the holodeck therapy, as I call it. It cannot be understated. The importance of having that downtime to relieve stress cannot be understated. It's almost like they have to do that. I didn't see a ship's counselor on board there, like what we're accustomed to seeing with the TNG, but certainly this was something to think about. And um, here it says the crew that gives new meaning to the slingshot effect. Certainly, there's a lot of things to toss around. Who knew? But physics is all about vectors and how you can move things around. And certainly using that as a slingshot. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the slingshot effect. It looked good on screen, Julian. The propulsion from the wave of energy
Yeah,
pushing the ship. The ship was recharging like remotely, right? Like it
yeah,
was like, let me go stand near the thing and it's charging up everything. That really looked really cool. Rather than fight it, just go along with it, ride the wave, ride that wave through the galaxy. Who knew that you could ride these waves? Um, yeah, and Tom says, but Riker and Troy kind of moment. It certainly was quite touching. And, Julian, you and I were talking about this before we went on air about how there was this, you know, unresolved situation. And I had said she seemed a bit snarky. You mentioned, she just had her kid, and I thought to myself, yeah, that is very true. You make a good point. But I think seeing this part where he was able to kind of tell her pretty much that even though I had kind of run away from the situation, I think what it really, at least for me, was that he kind of lost a little bit of hope and he got that hope back. And I think it's very interesting that you can get hope back even after a hopeless situation. I think that was such a positive message. What did you think, Julian?
oh, I think totally. The story served well to kind of. I mean, even it starts out with Picard and Riker kind of apologizing to each other, which kind of had to know that that was going to come almost immediately. That they were going to both feel responsible for what happened, and he Riker got into the seat, tried to after getting over his fatalism of the situation. I think what was going on with him at home was making it difficult for him to be, the captain that they needed at the time. It took the other events happening and for them to be going, wait a minute, let's try and work the situation and figure out what we can do to get out of here. So, and once they brought the plan to him, he finally got with it, and it's like, okay, we got to do this.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
you make a good point. If people are saying another Riker maneuver, I thought that was the one where he sucks up the gas and then uses the gas. But you know something? It's all about physics. It's all about vectors, guys. Yeah, the maneuver, they have to apply physics with whatever tools they have so that the number of variables and options are endless and limitless. We haven't even begun to see all that they can do in space. In some cases, somewhat semi-vacuum, vacuum, whatever it is, closed system, open system. There's a lot that you can do in an environment like that. And of course, the fact that they were able to harness the energy was something else that is very interesting. So yeah, maybe it is another Riker maneuver. Thomas says, didn't expect them to go out like that, and it was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful, Thomas. It was just so beautiful. And, I think it was almost, Riker talked about how seeing that made him feel a certain way. That obviously remembering maybe the birth of his children or something like that. It really was quite a touching moment, guys. And of course, Robert is going to have his at 10:30 tonight. The Kurla and Nakos guys do show up for that as well. Thomas says, and the end credits and music made it so much better. It was very touching. Thomas, we know Robert's gonna have a lot to say about these episodes, everybody. Um, you know, uh Julian and I are gonna have our review at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday night, right before Midnight Musings. If we do musings afterwards, but it'll be that night. Donnie says, I agree. I hope the Abyss debuts on high def home media. Come on, Disney. The 20th Century Studios, make it so.
It'd be nice.
So good. I want more, but I just want to talk about this episode. I loved how Picard says, I'd name you Jack, and explains who Jack was. Yeah. And Donnie says, not all Federation starships have counselors on board. Thank you, Donnie. Nor are all counselors Starfleet officers. Some counselors are civilians. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Donnie, for that information. And I wondered about that. And it's like, what do you do if there isn't a counselor on board? It's something to think about. Yeah. Oh, you know something? There's a lot in this episode. I think there were things that I definitely missed, and I think that uh Mike Falderoff, hi Mike, says, oh damn, we get that moment again where he realizes he screwed up again. And that's okay. That's all right. You know something? It's not perfect. Star Trek is not a perfect environment. And we see sometimes mistakes can be made, and that's okay. That's life. It's not a perfect place. Um yeah, Thomas, that's for another question. That's a question that that's a question that even I didn't have the guts to ask anyone, even when I was face to face with the person, with the producer, to ask those questions because I didn't recognize him. So, so there is that. Um, Bandit MD11 says, "Good episode, certainly." Um, yeah, this is something else. Thomas saying, "Amazing episode. Holy crap! Just seeing what will happen next now." Yeah, Julian. Gosh, we can't predict what's going to happen going further. Gosh, Julian, I don't think I've ever seen a season like this.
It's been a long. Yeah, they're tight. I mean, each episode builds on the other. It's been really good. I suspect that next week, Worf and Raffi will be getting together with them by some point. Because I imagine that Worf is like, we need to get people who I can trust. You know?
And you know something? I think it's really interesting, Thomas. You talked about Terry being in charge of Trek, which is something that Robert has. I'm not speaking for Robert, but I'm the number of times I've spoken to him, he's implied that it would be great if there could be more seasons and more projects with Terry. And I kind of jokingly said, yeah, we have to have a drinking game every time we hear the word Metalis. Of course, it's M apostrophe
Yeah.
TALLS. But I almost want to like scream shouts of joy every time we hear that word, because it's become sort of like my new Star Trek mojo word. Metalis means it's going to be something new. And I did want to say, and I'm Bandit, I'm going to say your comment, but we saw a new life finally. That new life was a metaphor for a new era, at least for this season.
Yeah.
Hopefully, going forward, Jet Streamer, we are going to see more of that. This was from the Next Generation episode. That's what you were saying, Julian, when Geordi proposed turning off all the power and the Enterprise got stuck. So well done. Mike says, solve one problem, we get another one. Well, that is life, Mike. Certainly. Shaw even grew on me more. Yes, that moment. And then what he does. Shaw is incredibly charming. Now he can be a bit resentful, Julian, for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. He's seen a lot. Like eh, surviving an encounter with the Borg, only God knows what else Shaw has done. He's seen a lot, but I think what's very interesting about him is that he hasn't lost his charm. He still has a little bit of playfulness in him when you catch him on the right day, right? But he can be a zinger. He can press your buttons. And
Mm-hmm.
that can be dangerous because for a crew, Seven of Nine can take anything. She can totally take it. But for the rest of those young kids who are not accustomed to smack talk or somebody telling you something, that can kind of screw with them. So sometimes that type of smack talk isn't great for young cadets and people like that. But Seven, she's tough as nails. She's kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. But I think Shaw, he's really interesting. Julian, what do you think of Shaw? Has your opinion changed about him? What are your thoughts?
I liked him anyway, despite how abrasive he was. But I think mostly I just didn't form an early opinion because of all the, I guess, advanced intel we received about things. And I caught a stream that where when Rob had both Todd and Terry on, and when they talked, it just became kind of obvious that there was going to be that type of situation with his character where he was just going to grow on us, and he was not going to be just your run of the mill jerk that had to be dispensed with type of thing. No, it's a well-rounded character. I forgot what I was going to say earlier. Anyway, it's not important.
Well, we'll probably cover it in the recap, right, Julian? Anyway,
Yeah.
But Shaw really, actually, what I do want to say is that Shaw is pretty amazing. There, I said it. I think he's a fantastic captain, a fantastic strategist. And I think that the reason why he didn't want to get scratch the paint on his ship is because of all that stuff he went through with the Borg. That's how I feel about it. I think that was a very traumatic experience for him. And that, for him, he could probably, since he's an engineer, he could probably do anything on that ship. He's incredibly talented. He knows what he's doing. Hot wiring the ship. At least that's what it looked like to me. Like it's fully. I'm like, wait a minute. This is hot wires. I almost wanted him to tap it. Kind of like tap it so it could spark. But it felt great to see 7 and 9 and him kind of like collaborate and get this thing where she was like, well, you know the ship better than anyone else, so I have no choice but to ask you. And it almost felt like a brother and sister. It was very interesting, the relationship between the two of them. I think they could learn a lot from one another, but Shaw is amazing. And I really do like what they've done with him. And Donnie, I'm not going to comment on this because I have thoughts in my mind, but I'm not going to go there. But let's just say, Donnie, we're lucky to get so far a season like this. This is completely not at all what I expected. Completely so satisfying to see something fun like this. This has been fun, Julian. Yeah, Jessica, there is a lot of sad irony. And to be honest with you, Thomas says, I haven't seen Trek like this in so long. There's so many comments, guys. And Mike, you couldn't have said it any better, Mike, about now we have to figure out what is up with Jack. And I think this is why they are following him.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the reason we know now that Jack is being followed because of these visions, or somebody has done something to Jack. You see, Jack, Julian, has gone in somewhat suspicious circles. And if Jack stayed in one place, where he was maybe not exposed to anything, I could say maybe that's not the case. But we know he's been around a lot of different people, Julian, traversing the galaxy, doing all sorts of stuff. And so he was somewhat vulnerable. I know he wants to be this, kind of young guy who's going off in the galaxy and doing whatever he wants to, but nobody is, kind of immune from manipulation. And my biggest fear is that, if this is like some kind of prophecy thing, that he's been manipulated somehow and he's just kind of ignoring this stuff. He wouldn't tell anyone. He can't tell Jean-Luc. He can't tell Greg. There's no one to tell. He can't tell his mom. Um, Julian, how has Jack been dealing with this? This is not the first time we've seen him have a vision. He's probably having these visions for a long time. And he feels perhaps that the visions might be connected to why someone is hunting him. How do you think Jack has been dealing with this all this time, Julian?
There's a river in Egypt, and it's called Denial, and that's what he's writing down right now. I don't. He hasn't talked to anybody, so obviously he's trying to just like ignore it as best he can, I think. And which is
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Stupid. It's stupid.
Do you know what those visions reminded me of? And I don't know if anybody else got this vibe, but it reminded me of some of the visions I've saw in Stranger Things. Like that the color palette and the way that everything looked reminded me of Stranger Things. I don't know why. When the Demigorgon was coming for them. And I know this has nothing to do with Stranger Things, but yeah, Tom, you know something, Tom, as I told you, I am not going to comment on any of this, but I'm thinking a lot of things. I'm not commenting on offers or on what's happening in the future or who's going to get what, but I am thinking a lot of things because this has been just such an extraordinary season. I'm almost speechless. I'm sure he would be best doing well. Yes, the writing, thank you, Jet Screamer. The writing, the chemistry are also good. You understand a look between two people. You know something, Julian? And I've often said this. the importance of being able to see how these characters to relate to one another by their gestures after a while being around one another. There was a few episodes of The Next Generation where one of the person said, well, you didn't say anything to him. How did he know what to do? And I think Riker or Jean-Luc said, well, we know each other so well that just by a look, I could tell him what to do. And I think there was a lot of that in what we saw here. It's true that Beverly hasn't seen him for 20 years. Some of these guys haven't seen each other for years, but certainly there was a lot of that communication that cannot be ignored and is absolutely necessary in an environment like this, Julian, where we have things that are such high stakes, where the pressure is high, where, 7 of 9, of course, and they did kind of foreshadow that the person wouldn't know all the details about everybody on the ship. But the point is that there are certain gestures where 7 of 9 goes to Shaw and he knows why she's showing up. He knows she's there because she needs something from him, but he also realizes that he needs her as well. Is this true, Julian? Are they setting this up for Dominion versus Borg?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, certainly their time spent together has paid dividends for them to be able to trust each other and work together as a team, and that was refreshing to watch and see. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was. What was the hand thing, Julian? What was that?
The hand thing.
Yeah, where she cut off her hand.
I, I just some sort of communication thing. I am not as well versed as I would like to be. It's been a long time since I saw Deep Space Nine in any depth. So maybe I missed something from that, but it just seemed like it was some sort of communication method that they had for the link to work or something like that.
It was creepy.
Yeah, it was.
Jet Screamer says Overwood 359. I'll never be over Wolf 359.
Some wounds run deep. Little airplane humor there.
And Thomas says, this is like a way better Trek film made into a series, much better than what Nemesis did. Oh, yeah, Thomas, this is 100 times better than what we've seen in ages. Jason Atreides liked and subscribed. Yes, Jason, welcome. I'm assuming you mean to the Burnettwork. You could also subscribe to my channel, Positive Fandom, as well as Tom Jr. Jackson's channel. But regardless, Jason, we are so glad you're here. Yeah, guys, we all stayed up. Can you believe it? We stayed up, guys. Shaw has every right to not be happy about. Yeah, Thomas, that's a good point. He needed to get that out, and he's been wanting to say that for so long, right, Julian?
Oh yeah, we've been waiting for him to say it for so long. I've been waiting. I knew it was something like that. It had to be something like that.
It would be more like, you Borg MF or whatever, like kind of, like, you bastard or whatever he was gonna say about him. But he needed to get that out, and it's okay. And he was kind of a killjoy in the bar scene where it's like this special moment, you're my dad and I'm, you're my son and let's bond. And the guy's like, this son of a bitch was a Borg, like it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of, I'm like, do you see that they're having a bonding moment? And you're kind of, but it's okay. Shaw needed to bond. He needed to get that out. He had to do it that minute. And sometimes things happen,
They thought they were going to die. Of course he needed to get it out.
And Mike says Shaw is still a bit of a Richard, but the book isn't fully written. Yes. Cisco was upset with Picard. He could not help but look at Picard a different way because he was on the station or wherever the far point. I can't remember what it was.
Well, he was in that battle too.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he was there, and of course his wife was killed.
Yes.
But just remembering that, it was incredibly painful. I know you want to, Thomas, but we do have to wrap this up. Tom, um, Robert is going to have his show, his recap show later tonight. Um, so Thomas, I hope we see you there or on 11 p.m. on Friday. Mike says Shaw's story brings up that there wasn't the room for everyone to escape pods like we always thought. Yes, good point. And Jason says in Picard season 3, episode 3, when Worf is practicing fighting music, he's listening to the exact same as Star Trek First Contact when Picard was in his quarters. Thanks, guys, for going ahead and commenting on the music, which was perfect. Darth Plato, hey, Darth Plato says this was a neat episode. It was.
It was.
Okay. Yeah, it freaked me out too, Leon, when she cut off the badly and the demon skull, and I was like, "What is this?" Yes, I definitely had an emissary moment when Shaw reminisced. Yeah, it was, and it was very interesting hearing Shaw was very smooth, but I can't forget Avery Brooks's voice because he had such a smooth sounding voice when he talked about this, and it was just absolutely crushing to hear him talk about it. Uh, just devastating. The music references are amazing. Wasn't the music in this episode tied to? Yes, it was. Okay. Jack is the asset.
Yeah.
Jack is the asset. Um, what if Picard is not the real father, and what if he was a changeling? Um, yeah, Tom, something to think about, Tom. I don't know, but you know something. It's something to think. It's something to think about, Tom. Jason says the Dominion has returned with a vengeance. 25 years they've been planning, which is like a second for them, right? The Dominion. 25 years is a second in their time. The Borg
I don't know how the founders regard time. I don't honestly
do
know.
do the Borg want to Federation membership? Do they?
Well, yeah, that was the whole thing with the last season.
Oh.
Girardi
Oh yeah,
went
that's
and
right. With the girl.
repurposed the Borg Queen and the
That's
Borg mission. So they joined to help with that explosion attack, whatever the heck it was. To yeah, but who knows what happened after that?
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Julian, both for refreshing my memory. I'm just interested in this episode at this moment. Yeah, this moment is really special, guys. This is a moment we've been all waiting for. What has it been since '09? Um, we've been waiting for something like this since '09. They didn't cut away, Julian, into talking about Rafi and Worf. They didn't do that in this episode. It was straight on dealing with what we had to deal, the repercussions from the previous episode, the decisions moment where
Yeah,
has finally has that Beverly, I kept everything from you, Picard, working out the family issues.
it
um
it, it would have cut into the tension the way that they were purposely crafting the tension to work specifically. And yeah, I like I said, the way they had done stuff earlier, where it was like suddenly they cut over, and you're like, no, no, wait, I don't go away from that scene, and so that was kind of a nice surprise for that one moment where it was like, oh, I thought for sure that we were going to find ourselves going to Raffi and Worf, and they didn't, and I was like, good.
it was an excellent decision because it would have sucked if they
Yeah.
did that. The momentum totally would have been lost. Jason says Picard ending season 3. That galactic event was a Dominion weapon. Oh, he's saying prediction. It was a Dominion weapon. Yeah, I could see the portal being a Dominion weapon. I heard some search for Spock main theme titles in the scene when Picard takes command. Excellent. Oh, thank you, Jason. Season 2. Okay, thanks, Jason, for that. That great epic line Picard is known for. Yes, it wasn't it. It was so epic. Um, and everybody's talking about that communication demon changelings. Um, And I think the Borg was brought up like it was an emissary just because of the near death moment, and Shaw was being expressive, but it was well done. Better if the no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the autocorrect, Jet Screamer. We're not going to be like, well, you said X, but you meant what? No, we don't care. We know it was autocorrect. No worries. Um, the founders have shapeshifted into species 8472 and have their tech watch and see. Well, Jason, that is quite something to think about. Thomas says it was like an epic movie Trek moment. We haven't had a epic movie Trek moment, Julian, in ages. Um, yeah, what did we think about the asteroid at the Shrike and that bouncy sound it made? Um, yeah, it reminded me of Pippa Pig, right? Or something from, some kind of play school. No, it didn't. It reminded me that they're gonna have to keep, you know, looking at everything that's available and seeing what you can use um as a weapon, just using basic vectors. At least that's how I look at it as vectors. You look at all the different objects and what happens, or playing pool. If I hit this with that, what will happen? um and there's all that fun good stuff in space there. So he's lucky that there was free debris. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Yeah, because what if it was lodged and he couldn't move it, or it was, And Shaw also gave Seven some respect. He gave her some street cred. Um, Shaw bad passed with Borg seems a bit of a retread. Yeah, it does, Darth Plato, and it was needed because it's okay that there are other characters that have that tension as well. I'm kind of glad they put that in there because it's a good way for them to segue and talk that Jake understands some of his father's experiences. But yeah. Thank you, Tom Jr. Jackson. Guys, please subscribe to my channel, Positive Fandom. When you get a chance, I would appreciate if you guys like the show tonight. Please do consider subscribing to Positive Fandom. It's much appreciated. We're gonna keep these Trek shows going here on the Burnettwork, but I also have my own channel, Positive Fandom, where I'm actually streaming Hogwarts Legacy every single day too, and doing live watch parties and all that good stuff, all that fun stuff coming forward. So thank you, Tom, for doing that. And Tom, make sure to include your link too. Cisco was one of the lost ships in that battle. Oh, I didn't know that. Shaw couldn't stand Picard getting credit as a hero and not punished. Right. 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 Oh, hey Donnie, you take care of yourself. Says thank you, and Julian. Be seeing you guys again this evening, if not before, of course. Till then, you and yours live long and prosper. Will live long and prosper to
Live
you.
long and prosper. Whoop, that way. Right in front of my face.
Yeah. And I'm off till tomorrow, so I can't wait. Hey, so glad for you. Click and subscribe to my channel, guys. This is Tom Jr. Jackson's channel. The
Yeah.
moderator that's been working on like every single stream and the Burnettwork, as well as mine. God bless you, Tom. Guys,
When does that
subscribe.
man sleep?
Yeah, he doesn't sleep. Tom, guys, please subscribe to Tom Jr. Jackson's channel. He does such fantastic reviews, as you guys know. And he does a lot of retro reviews, guys. So if you like the retro stuff, definitely check out Tom Jr. Jackson's channel. This has been fantastic. It has been great, hasn't it? It's been so wonderful. And I think we're gonna have to wrap it up. You guys, yeah, they should ignore 1 and 2. That has been very different and crazy. And honestly, I just want to thank everybody who showed up tonight. Efren, you as well. What did Vodic do to her hand? Yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. I can't figure out what's going to happen up next. I just don't know. Um it's just it's so unbelievable. Um and I've just enjoyed tonight so much, Julian. It keeps getting better and better. Hey, Leon K, thank you for tonight. Julian, thank you for joining me tonight at the middle of the night to
Thank
talk
you,
about
RM, for having me.
to talk about Star Trek. Obviously, this is, Julian, when I first met you, it might be 2 years ago. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jason. Julian, when I first met you and your family, it's probably about 2 years ago or so, and we talked about Trek. And, we just didn't know where Trek was going at the time. And look at where we are today, Julian. It feels fantastic to see what has happened. Hey, Jada, we just watched it. We hope you enjoyed it, Jada. Good to see you. Good to see all of you guys. We are so grateful to be here on PGS Treks. I am Artem, the creative content director here on the Burnettwork. Also with my own channel, Positive Fandom. Julian, where can people find you?
Well, they can find me right here on your channel and the Burnettwork, and also on Facebook at Julian Mushkin, and that's where you'll find me.
Well, guys, it's been so wonderful hosting this show tonight. It's been what a great episode. It's been great hearing all your opinions, guys. Remember, Robert's going to have his review as well later tonight, and Julian and I are going to also be doing another stream on Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do our official recap, like after we watch it and actually went to sleep and got rest and everything. So everything will be very different. We're going to be very different after that, of course. But yeah, we did. We group watched it and enjoyed it, Thomas. This has been amazing. And as Tom Jr. Jackson remembers what I always say at the end of a show, guys, remember, no matter where you are in the galaxy, of course, live long and prosper, of course. But always do remember to please be kind, everybody. Take care.
Cheers.